The breaking sports news of the day is that Illinois head football coach Tim Beckman fired a week before the season opener here in Champaign. We are debating this topic now, and
it's kind of like, well, we've been through camp, we've been through all this, and now we're here with this bombshell. Like, oh man, now our coach is gone, So what's next? But I know they'll be able to. They prepare hard enough just to take on next week, with a full-headed team, and maybe just give them a little bit more motivation to take this season on a little harder than they were going to in the first place. But what he brings to the table, I mean, Coach Cubitt, he's a great leader, man, and he's stern, so he's not one. He's a player's coach as well, but he's going to discipline you more than he's not going to just baby you up and say, well, do better next time. He's going to put his foot down like, hey, that wasn't good, So guys respect Coach Cubitt, man. He's gained a lot of respect over the years with the offense, doing what he did with our offense since he's been there. So he's got their respect from the players, and the guys trust him, man. The guys trust him that he can make a game plan and go out there and they can go execute it and help us be successful.
I think up until now, Mike Thomas has not been on the chopping block simultaneously the way he is this fall. The last 3 years it's been, well, Thomas has Ballant and Gross that were his other hires. He is not just being measured by this football coach. Whereas now, Thomas has got enough heat on him that it's the case that he is likely out of this university in the next 12 months. It would be really surprising to see him here a year from now. I think it's more likely Bill Cubitt's here a year from now than Mike Thomas, to be honest with you.
And one thing is that, you mentioned, he has this guy, Ballant, who went through a huge, racism allegation, $10 million lawsuit, which is still ongoing. So there's still $10 million someone's trying to make. You got that. Gross isn't doing that well. And then Gross gave a second chance to a guy who, after resisting arrest and failing 2 drug tests, did it again, but this time in France. I guess it was fancier, right? So among that, we have that. And not to mention the people he's been getting rid of this offseason. Yeah, you look at some of there's smaller programs, softball, women's tennis.
Well, I think softball retired. I mean, it's not clear whether maybe she was forced out or not.
Her contract was over.
Okay.
So they didn't renew it. That's a fact. So
yeah.
Maybe it ended up working out, but we just kind of have to see, it's something where he keeps stressing, I want the student athletes to be happy, to be safe. But from what it seems with, a lot of the ones who've said, Akeem Spence tweeted out, Illinois got better today and blah, 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 former player. And then, we've talked to some of the players after their coaches randomly were dismissed or let go or not renewed, and they're not happy. We've heard, here and now that it's not a great situation for this whole program. And I think when, the biggest moneymaker, when the head football coach is gone, it just kind of looks funny. And we've read the stories. The donors are saying, if Mike Thomas is still the athletic director, you're not getting any of my money, Illinois. Yeah. And it's not like this university doesn't have enough problems. Charlotte mentioned earlier, Salida, all this other junk. So, I mean, is this going to... I think you're right. I don't think he's going to be around for much longer.
And I also think something to...
Just because you're constantly, whether it's football or one of the smaller programs, it's constantly, the focus is on how bad the university is handling things and how much your program kind of sucks. So I can't imagine that's a confidence booster in terms of being an athlete either. And just the talk among campus is, well, our university is kind of screwing things up majorly.
Yeah, because people are saying, come to Illinois on these smaller programs, whether it's tennis or golf that are sometimes top teams in the nation. And it's almost sad where they go, well, we'd love to, and it's a phenomenal program. Coaches are great, but the coverage of the other sports overshadows everything we do, and we can never really get our foot in the door of saying, hey, we're this good of a program. Like, for me, the fact that Illini golf is as tremendous as it is shocking. Because I don't know about you, but in cold weather cities, I don't know how in the world they get good enough at golf to really make that a premier sport at this university. So something like that's like, oh, hey, Illinois golf's really good. They're on the map here. But here comes Lasagna Oski Tim Beckman coming through, the K for knowledge. And it really overshadows everything. And by the way, someone said they made Oski shirts based off the Big Ten Media Day, where it's like Oski on the front and the back has every description with knowledge, the K for knowledge. It was phenomenal.
Can we please get those shirts?
Yes.
Well, and for what it's worth, the Illinois golf team just this week was ranked preseason number 1 in the country. No one cares. No one cares about that because Tim Beckman is getting fired. And it's not that no one should care, because people should care.
Going off what you mentioned, I just remember this, but over the summer, the university hired like this gigantic PR firm to just help shape their image, because over the past year, everything's been kind of going wrong for this university. So it kind of makes me think, are these the first steps of their work coming to fruition? Is it, this was a preliminary report. They made the final call on Matt Ballant right when that came out, and then they finally let him outside to talk to the media. And this was a preliminary report. Are they saying that we got to get rid of the bad eggs like sooner than later? Don't wait for the investigations, because they very well could have waited till the end and then fired Tim Beckman. He made it seem like even the preliminary was just so awful that we want to get rid of him. But like maybe they're pushing it, so maybe they don't have an agenda really, but they're trying to really pick this up and basically get rid of everyone. The chance on the provost are gone pretty quick too.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they made a move like this before the whole investigation's out. That seems very un-Illinois-like, at least in the past couple of things we've seen. Like you said, whether Ballant or whomever, they've waited. We're going to wait the legal process out. But today, they kind of went halfway and said, well, I guess this is good enough. And Thomas is probably thinking, too, I got to get rid of this guy to maybe save at least a year of my job, if anything.
Well, don't you kind of think, like, the Illinois Athletic Department is kind of trying to distract fans from how bad things have been? Like, what was the topic last April? Rebranded, everything's great. We're going to improve the block eye. We're going to add a shield to make things look cool and everything. We're building a new State Farm Center. We're making everything better. But are we really making things better? I mean, football finally made a bowl game last year, but that was the 6-6 record, and they lost Louisiana Tech. And basketball hasn't been doing any better. And those are like, as bad as it might seem, those are the vital programs that like earn the university money. Basketball and football, and maybe volleyball a little bit in this school because they are so good. But those are the things that get people attention. That's what's going to make people want to go to games and buy things. And they just kind of try distracting people from how bad the two teams have been for the past few years, ever since Mike Thomas did hire Gross and Beckman.
And one other thing, and sometimes I just wonder, like, people propose occasionally, would we be better off without college sports? I don't know. Would we? Like, Tim Beckman was getting paid $3 million, for his contract. Would we be better off just giving that money to students, and putting them on academic scholarship?
Wasn't he the highest paid person in the state? Like, he earned more than the governor of Illinois.
Highest paid public employee. He earned more than Mike Thomas by leaps and bounds. I think Thomas is. You could look at the Daily Illini salary guide to double check my facts, but I think Mike Thomas's salary is somewhere in the range of $400,000 a year, and Beckman is above $1 million. Was above $1 million.
Well, now Bill Cubit's moving up in the ranks.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, have you guys gone over Cubit's contract? He's $515,000 a year and $100,000 a month, and that's if he wins or loses.
That's more than Phyllis Wise.
That's more than Phyllis Wise.
So it's already 7 o'clock, guys. We got to head out. But we wanted to make sure we got on today, as the breaking news was that Tim Beckman, former head coach of the Illinois football team, was fired today. So we wanted to make sure we got on, talked about it, gave you some player reaction. Our thanks to Ralph Cooper, former Illini football player and Illini Media Company member, jumped on to give us his perspective from a player's perspective, really what's going through their minds, his mind, on what has been a chaotic Friday. It was supposed to be the slowest news day, and it's not even close to that. So, quick reminder here that we start all of our Daily Illini Sportscast next week. They're going to be every Monday at 6 p.m., and we're going to try to add a little more to them as we go throughout the year here. We're still waiting for some things to shake out in terms of programming-wise. We want to make sure we get you the latest Illini information as quickly as we can. And, of course, the award-winning Illini Drive starts Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. on WPGU 107.1. So, again, this is your home on the way home for Illini Sports, Champaign's Alternative, WPGU 107.1.